think some people think that being around others or many things keeps them in a state of joy. When you're by yourself, when you're spending time with yourself, I know for me anyway, in that moment, I'm not judging myself. No one else is judging me. Everything I do feels possible.
Tell me your name.
Mishal Moore. Being alone is recharging. It's finding your center. When you can be happy listening to yourself breathe and realize like there's air in my lungs, I can move my limbs, I can blink my eyes. You're not reaching for something greater than what you already are. When I'm alone, I feel the most free. I feel the most capable. Huh?
You said you're ready to go home. Tell me what's at home.
My bed.
Just
a bit of comfort. Realizing that I do like to be by myself. I've gotten so used to like taking the time off, and it's nice to be back in this and doing it like this. Feels weird.
Like this.
Prepping for a chill day on camera. I always loved who I was as an artist, but when it came to Mishal, I wasn't there for myself. I had to reevaluate what I was doing and if I liked what I was doing. I needed to take time to be a friend to myself. Loneliness is different. You can be with people and feel loneliness. And that is the most devastating thing that I've ever experienced. Being around so many people and still feeling so separated because you're not on the same frequency. Loneliness is not being able to express exactly what's going on to anyone, and that the only person that understands is you. And so you're desperate. You become so desperate to be heard, but you don't know how to speak on it.
Being lonely. What's that like for Mishal?
It is like watching paint dry. It's like an unfinished piece of work. It's like you're drowning, but all you have to do is stand up and realize that you're in 3 feet of water. Like it's a bad dream. It's falling. It's not being able to breathe, not being able to eat. It is it's very real. It's a very real thing. It's damaging and it's very suffocating. You're feeling so much, you're feeling too much, you're feeling everything. Sometimes I used to think like, well dang, I have so much more life to live than I've already lived, and that sounds exhausting as hell. Like, when is this going to be over? I think about these things. I think about how I'm going to die. I think about if I'm going to live a long life. I don't think I'm going to live a long life. Well, maybe I will. That's what goes on in my head. It's just this. It's exhausting. It's really exhausting. When I'm feeling lonely, that's when I create the most, because I don't have it. It's like I have no other way of escaping, because I feel like I can't talk to anybody, and I feel like I can't. As an artist, you take from the need and the capacity to feel, and then you make your own thing. You can't see what I'm saying. There is no visual for it when you're listening to it, but you can feel that shit. You can so feel it. It's just really, really important to be able to feel something and be moved by something and not know why. That's a beautiful thing. I think music is very powerful, but for me, there is something so powerful about silence. When we see something, we see it and we know, okay, well, that's red, that's green, that's what we know. You don't even have to ever go anywhere. You just see pictures and you know, okay, that's a mountain. I know what the Grand Canyon looks like, but you don't know what it sounds like. When you hear what that shit sounds like and there is no sound, and there is just this eeriness of what I feel like space sounds like, I always want to get there when I'm creating music. I want people to listen to it and feel uncomfortable with what they're hearing. Not because it doesn't sound good, but because they've never heard it before. They've never heard it like that. When I started producing it, I started with the tempo. I started to, okay, well, I wanted to sound like a very calm heartbeat, but I wanted it to be heavy, like earth-shattering. You know that they say like sound goes on forever? So I knew that I wanted it to exist outside of the initial hit. So I picked up my bass guitar and I said, okay, well, let me figure out what this riff is. I just started manipulating that shit, like that's what I do. And using the keys and organs and the pianos, those were kind of like, those were making it comfortable to the ear, because people needing to hear something that they can relate to move it better. So I put the keys in, but I put the keys in very subtly, there's a lot of crescendos and decrescendos. And these are all things that I go through before I even start recording the song. I don't even think about going into the booth and singing. I'm just thinking, how can I make this something? I got it exactly how I wanted it to sound. A lot of times people are always rolling their eyes when they're in time in the studio, but I'm a one take person. Like I don't do lots of takes. I do one take, and I sing it all the way through. I don't chop up my stuff. I don't do that stuff. I am a professional, and I act as such. So I go in the booth. I know exactly how I want to do it, and I get in there and I'll do one take. And there are times where I'll do more than one take. I'll do 3 or 4 takes, but it's always the first take that I get, because the first take, it is initiating how I feel. Because after that, then I start getting in my head. Then I start thinking about what I'm doing. And I don't like to think about what I'm doing when I'm singing, because that's disastrous. It strips all of the feeling out of it, all of the emotion out of it. Things in it that I hear now that I'm like, oh, I could have done that better. Oh, I could have done, but I don't do it. I don't do it because the movement. It's about the movement. I'm all about keeping all of those nuances, not omitting, not editing out my breath when I inhale, and or when I sigh, or the sound of the headphone. Like I feel like that adds to it. Makes you feel like you are there with me every time. I travel to the space when I'm creating music. I believe solely in isolation. Isolation is so important to me. Simple is better, because if you're really trying to take people on a journey and you got too much shit going on and there's no isolation, and you're trying to cover it up with background vocals or too many this or too many that, you lose people, and all it becomes is a hook. It just becomes a great hook, and I'm not a hook girl.
I see the crystal raindrops fall, and the beauty of it all is when the sun comes shining through to make those rainbows in my mind when I think of you sometime, and I wanna spend some time with you. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us.
This song is a cover. I'm assuming that the song was intentionally made, by the way that was produced, to be a love song about two people conquering the world together. And when I heard it, it just hit me in a way that it never hit me before when I was listening to it. I heard it as me, myself, and I, as a team, coming together and making it happen. I believe that every artist has an internal struggle.
Good things might come to those who wait, not to those who wait too late. We got to go for all we know.
Look, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing in life. I don't think anybody does. But I think mostly artists, we just don't know what the fuck we're doing. We're just kind of like winging it. We're just trying to make shit work. We want to do what we love, and we're just trying to make shit work. And so when we're doing stuff, in the moment when we're planning it all sounds good, and then when you get to it, it's like, oh fuck. I just made this up out of my head, and now there's all these people here. What the fuck? Like, I hope I don't fuck this shit up. Everybody is relying on you based on something that you've done or you've thought of. People who work for themselves, people who are entrepreneurs. We have to create work for ourselves. That's harder than a motherfucker. That is so hard to do. Because you could easily just like, I'm really good at this. I'm going to just sit around and wait for somebody to realize how good I am. But we can't do that. We have to create our entire village. Whether that mean touring, moving, working with people we don't want to work with, you know what I'm saying? Getting docked on pay, missing pay, being stiffed and shit. It's a real thing, and it goes on all the time, and we are responsible for our own shit. Nobody else can fix it for us. So you need to respect that. You have to respect what people do. Even if you don't like it, you have to respect it, because they put time and effort into it. And sometimes they don't get fucking paid for that shit. It's just for the love. And if you don't like it, you don't have to like it. I'm not doing this for you.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us.
This song meant so much to me, so I wanted to change it. I wanted to deliver it differently. I wanted it to express what I was going through in that moment. Once this is released, it won't be mine anymore. But that's okay, because I'm okay to let it go, because I'm in a different space now. I don't need it in the way that I did.
What's next? Like, where are you? Where's your trajectory? Like, are you happy currently, or are you still pushing towards something bigger, something different?
That's a little question. I'm not really thinking about the future. Like, I'm not really. It's really hard to answer this question because I am in a different realm of my life where I don't have the energy to think about what's going to happen tomorrow, right? Because I know that whatever I'm thinking, whatever I hope for, it's really not in my hands. I can do the work. I can believe that something good is going to come out of it, or something great is going to happen. But will it actually happen in the way that I'm thinking? Probably not. Most likely no. And I'm okay with that. Will it be greater than what I'm thinking? I'm pretty sure it will. It always is. I'm not looking for anything really anymore. I'm happy. Presently, right now, today, I am happy. And tomorrow, I'm pretty sure I'll be happy. I've just become very content with the way that my life has kind of played out. And I just hope for the best all the time. Does that answer your question?
Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Just the two. Just
If you're a visual artist, if you're a musician, if you're a makeup artist or a hairstylist, if you're somebody who creates, it's very hard to create something from nothing, to walk into a space and be expected to bring it on and do what you say you're good at, and it's overwhelming.
the morning sun.
I don't even remember what the initial question was, but that's where we are. That's where I am right now.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. Building castles in the sky. Just the two of us. You and I.
My friend Lee, he said, just stay present. Just stay present and it's gonna be okay. It's always going to be okay. Present. Every time you think, every time you have a thought, you just stay with it. Just stay with it. Don't lose yourself. But sometimes you do. And it's okay. You just need to know how to bring yourself back to it and remind yourself, like, these feelings I'm feeling, these thoughts I'm having, they're just thoughts. It's not even real. I can choose not to suffer in life. So that's what I'm choosing to do. Day by day.